Hello everyone, Chris Assis here, and today we're going to be working on um, the idea of the axis and building on that three-dimensional concept that we were talking about last week, and you'll be able to find that video below at the description of this video so you can maybe go through it, or if you hadn't had the chance to try that exercise out, this is your chance today. So we're going to be building on that same concept, and but I want you to take a few moments to find your range, to find maybe your limits. It's not and not in a bad way, but in a good way. So different people will be able to have a different range of will have a different range of motion and a better sense of alignment, better balance than others. That does not mean that your balance sucks, and it doesn't mean that it won't get any better. And or if you're not really understanding that concept of the three dimensions of the axis that we're talking about, going up and down through the top of the head and through the tail, one going right and left and the other one going forward and back. It's okay. That's why we're creating all these exercises, and that's why we're taking a moment here to say, I don't only want to get better in tango, I want to be moving better every day of my life. And it's great that I can do it through a dance. So, dance and art can make us feel better every moment of our daily lives, or give us the tools to build towards that. And one tool is how we move, the other tool is how we perceive trouble and how we deal with them. So if balance and alignment and just finding your axis, being able to move around it, finding your posture, being able to move around it, if those are troubling, think that A, I am here today and I'm going to do my best. B, this is where I can get today. This is how much I can achieve. This is how much, yeah, this is how strong I am today. But I am working to become better at it. And C, if this is a big problem and maybe you can't get through the exercise, try to find what is it that is causing the trouble and how you can take small steps to change it. So, tango slash body movement slash social skills and problem solving. So, with no further ado, and with first committing to being present for at least those 10 minutes of practice that we're going to do today, let's get started. So here we're going to start from 2 feet and then end up on 1 foot. That transfer, that transition from 2 feet to 1 foot is the one I want you to take care of. Try not to rush, and notice how you manage that transfer from 1 foot to the other, and how you manage the coordination between your upper body and your free leg. That's the one that kicks back. On the second level, after you take a few times on it, and you start to pay attention the little things, I want you to notice that you don't only go forward and back and with the body and trying to keep your core nice and strong and so on and so forth. I want you to, instead of holding, I want you to notice how the hips are moving and how your your leg is moving inside your hips. So I want you to notice the coordination between the free leg that's kicking back, in this case at least, the hips that are moving around the leg, and the body that is moving because the hips are moving. So if we find a smooth coordination between them, then we won't have to think of holding, because we will have a smooth movement that is directing points that are very far away from the body and points that are very close to the body center. So that is the kind of coordination we're talking about. Not just, oh, my leg moved, therefore that my body should move in this way to make it balanced. So, and here too, as you will notice if you pay close attention, I am moving gently forward and back with the body, very, very gently. It's not because my arms are moving, it's because my body is moving over that leg. I want you to find a flow in this movement, instead of always looking for something to hold. So if we go to the second part of this drill, which we are going to do here, it's exactly the same idea, only you kick to the side. Now here things are going to be maybe a little bit more difficult, or maybe easier, I don't know. Use the same rules and use the experience you just got from kicking back to sideways. The way that our body reacts plays a major role here. It's very important. And also the body position. So if you notice, yes, I'm going from left to right, but there is always a gentle bend and a little twist. Can you see it now that I'm not moving? My shoulders are not completely square. And here, in the second part of the second drill, things are becoming a little more demanding in another way, because we're going from a wide X position to a linear position, sort of. So it's again that movement that I told you about. If I can describe to you what I'm feeling is, I feel my hips moving around the standing leg, and at the same time I feel my free leg moving inside my hips in a semicircle, and you can see that my toes are facing forward and now they're facing back, and that movement allows me, in coordination of course with the movement of my hips that are moving around the standing leg and back and forth, allows me to change the position and the shape in a more smooth way, in a way that has less tension, let's put it that way, as much as possible. So and then you'll notice that also each side will be a lot more comfortable than the other side. So notice the differences, notice the changes. Doesn't matter how many exactly you do. Maybe you're gonna do less than I'm doing here, or maybe you're gonna be able to do more. If you need to tap down and find your position again, that's also something you can do. Try not to set limits in that way for yourselves. Instead, notice the natural limits that your body has, based on your previous your activity background, or maybe there was an injury that you had a few months ago and maybe it hasn't healed 100%, even though it feels like it has. So different things like that. Also, just thinking in our minds that, oh, this is very difficult for me, my balance is terrible. That's also something that will hold us back. So try it out, and again, bring your whole body into the game. That's your biggest win Not if you can hold your balance, not if you can kick high enough, nothing like that. So, after forward and backward kicks, we are swinging forward and swinging back. This is something that it's vital. The swing is vital in our step. When we walk, there's always this moment of passing through center, swinging through to extend or to just take the next step. And I want you to find that in the hips, in the spine, and in the free leg. So if you notice here, when I'm bringing that knee up and through, you'll notice that my spine is curved, it is flexed, it is not extended. Yes, my shoulders are coming right over my hips, so my hips are moving forward as well before I kick the leg. Now, but also notice that they're not only moving forward with that free leg, but they're also coming a little bit under, so they're tucking in. We're going to use all these information in our walks. Little drill. You can of course get right into walks, tango walks, that's also an option. I'm walking here and I'm fully aware of how my hips are coordinating that swing from one foot to the other in our walk. And as we're going to keep on going, we're going to keep on noticing even deeper details of how the hips are feeling as they're moving around the legs, how the legs are feeling and moving inside the hips, how the thorax is moving on top of the hips, how the shoulders can stay relaxed and the neck can stay aligned with the rest of the spine, how you find a nice gentle spot to rest your head, and of course, how you can embellish. Here we're using embellishments for the sake of the exercise, but it's definitely, at least this one at the back with the little taps, it's definitely an embellishment you can do on the floor. The other thing that you will need to focus because of the exercise is the transfer between one foot and the other here too. So just like when we started and we were doing a sit and a kick back, here of course we don't do a sit, but we're going from one foot to the other foot and passing all the stages in between. So many times either we rush to take that step, we're never clearly on one axis, on one foot, and that doesn't allow us to do all these nice embellishments that we see the great dancers doing. So for example, you wouldn't be able to do this circle if you're not 100% on one foot, because the other foot, if it has your weight, it will be very difficult for you to move without losing your balance. Here, the taps are working in the same way. So you need to be very clear on where your axis is. And if you work with that in mind, so if you make that element the focus of your exercise from beginning to now, you'll see a great difference even by just going through it through this drill, and your steps should be feeling already a little bit better. And this is it. So, as I said before, take a moment to identify where you are and make sure that throughout the practice, you're feeling good about the movement you're creating. When you start feeling that, oh, I don't know, discomfort, or that you're creating tension, or that you're blocking your body from moving instead of, finding more range and finding efficiency and effortlessness, take a moment, maybe even take a break, walk around, have some water, do something else, take your mind off of it for a few moments, and then come back to it. Because there is a time during our practice that things are not going forward, and the only thing we're creating is just frustration. We don't want to get there. So when you start to feel that, I can't fix this, and you start getting into your head, step away from it for a minute or two, and then try it again. So I hope you will enjoy practicing those simple but very vital balance drills. And feel free to add more walking or different embellishments during your walk section. Have fun.